All right. Here we go. Microphone good? I hope so. Sure hope I'm coming in loud and clear. Because why would I want to come in any other way, man? If you're going to come in, you better come in guns blazing, you know what I mean? That's what I do. On this show, every other day, or however often I do this shit. I don't know. I want to keep it short today. Just a couple things I saw in the news that I wanted to commentate on. Let's get this out of my way. 1 second. I was a little unprepared. I want to grab... oh no, I already have that. Good. I got my beer. I'm sipping on a Voodoo Ranger Tropic Force. I know, call me gay. I tend to go for IPAs. I like my beers straight to the point, as it were. Although I'm not against drinking normal beer. 4 or 5 percenters. I like lager, I like ale, but sometimes I just want to get straight to it. And unfortunately, getting straight to it with beer means I have to drink IPAs because I don't drink Steel Reserve or Ice House Edge or Hurricane High Gravity. Although the first two I've been known to drink, the latter there, the Hurricane, is by far the most disgusting beer in the world. I challenge you to find a more fucking disgusting drink. Oh, she's got the... I gotta get... Give me that. No toys while I'm streaming, kitty. We don't need all that background noise. Alright. I'm gonna start out light, because this isn't really, like, news that needs to be commented on so much. But I found it interesting nonetheless. And who knows if it's even true, because, half of this stuff they talk about with science and space. This isn't about space, but it's like, who even knows, man? But apparently, some physicists in Italy, in the University of Trento in Italy, created a supersolid out of light. You know what? I don't like the microphone being up there. I'm gonna keep it here. A little more noise when I move around, but I feel like I'm picked up a lot better when it's down here. They created a super solid out of light. Somehow they solidified light. That to me is just fascinating. I mean, when you think of light, what would you say light is? It's waves, right? It's like electromagnetic waves. The visible light spectrum, or part of the spectrum. So it's radiation. But it's actually a particle, right? Photons. I guess, in theory, everything is a particle. Even waves are particles, I think. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I just find this stuff interesting. So, supersolids are a strange quantum state of matter that combines properties of solids and liquids. Now they've gotten even more mind-bending. Why is my light flickering? God damn it. Gotta go get a light bulb. As scientists have transformed light itself into a supersolid. It's a breakthrough that could lead to new quantum and photonic technologies. Beyond the everyday solids, liquids, gases, and plasmas, an entire zoo of exotic states of matter exist. Long theorized but only recently created, a supersolid has a crystalline structure like a regular solid, but it can also counterintuitively flow freely like a fluid. We can imagine the supersolid as a fluid composed of coherent, quantum droplets periodically arranged in space. Yeah, that kind of went over my head. I'm not going to lie. The quantum droplets are able to flow through an obstacle without undergoing perturbations, maintaining their spatial arrangement and mutual distance unchanged as happens in a crystalline solid. Supersolids have previously only ever been made out of atoms, but the team led by the CNR in Italy, National Research Council, so they'd probably say it like Consiglio di Nazionale Ricerche, and they got their fingers stuck together when they say it. I'm Italian, I get to make these jokes. Has now created one using photons for the first time. And the reason this fascinates me, if you'll excuse my squeaking there, the reason that this fascinates me is because think of the possibilities of what we could do with hard light. I mean, when I think of hard light, my mind instantly goes to the greatest TV show that was ever made, coming out of Britain, and we're going to talk about Britain in a bit. Red Dwarf, where one of the characters was a hologram, and later on in the series he went from being a soft light hologram, which means like he couldn't touch things or interact with the world around him. He could fall through walls, but somehow was able to stay on the floor. He didn't fall through the floor. Doesn't make sense. But later on in the series, he got a hard light body, which basically meant he could, interact with the world. He had died in this accident on the ship, and there was one survivor because he was in stasis. And when he was let out of stasis after the radiation was at a safe level, the ship's computer, which was like a sentient AI thing, brought back one of his crewmates as a hologram to, I guess, so he'd have someone to talk to. The thing is, he brought back like the guy that he hated the most instead of any one of his friends that were on the ship. Made for a great show. Now, I don't think we're going to be, uploading consciousness to a computer and then putting that into a hologrammatic form so that you could technically live forever, right? I mean, you're not going to. When you die, you die. These transhumanist types think they're going to be able to upload their consciousness to some kind of neural network or a computer and live on forever virtually. But what I don't understand is, how do they think that's going to be them? It's just going to be like a representation of them. Just as anyone listening to this show isn't actually listening to me, they're listening to a representation of me coming through their speakers. Like, when you die, you die. You go meet God. He's not going to be like, oh, well, heaven, hell, no. They just uploaded your consciousness, so you can go back down and exist as a computer. Which, I mean, it's a silly idea, but people actually think this way. But my thing with this hard light is, I mean, what... If they're able to actually manufacture this stuff on any mass scale... Another instance, I think, was like, if you've ever played Halo, those hard light bridges that you can turn on and walk across. Like, what are the applications for such a material in the real world? And I'm sure it's just like antimatter. They've probably only made minute, tiny little amounts in labs. And it probably won't happen in our lifetimes, but it will happen. And that just kind of fascinates me. the implications of such a technology. I mean, I'm sure they talk about it in this article. It starts going into all the technical stuff, but I want to see if they're going to talk about what it could be used for. This approach has the potential to bridge the gap between fundamental science and practical applications. That doesn't tell me much. It says it could lead to new quantum and photonic technologies. It doesn't really get in depth on said technologies. Now I'm going to look this up and see just what the hell solid light, let's say technology, uses, applications. Super solid light, advanced optics, simulation of exotic particles, solid light for holographic displays, right? Like holograms, obviously. Well, no, this is already existing technology. I'm talking about the actual logic gates for quantum computers, room temperature superconductors. I mean, we haven't figured those out. I think superconductors have to be like super cooled. The future is now. And now. And now. Damn, that's already the past. Keep up, man. Shit. Alright, enough about that. I'm talking way out of my league here. I don't know a damn thing about solid light or just advanced technology, physics, astrophysics. I could talk about dimensions and the implication of higher dimensions, but, you know, I'll save that for another time. I don't feel like trying to kick my brain into overdrive on this. So we'll go on to something else here. A little more worldly, a little more boring, honestly, because it's political. Of course, everything I fucking talk about on here is politics. I hate politics, but, you know, I have opinions and I have ideas, and by God, I'm going to talk about them until YouTube shuts me down for drunkenly saying the N-word or for saying faggot. I'll say that on here sometimes. I won't go so far as to drop N-bombs, because you know, the first black person that listens to my show, if they ever do, is going to be like, and they're going to report the hell out of me and get my channel taken down. So, this is from CNN, or as James Hake affectionately calls it, Commie Nonsense Network. And they are pretty commie, and they do spew a lot of nonsense. So, Elon Musk says that the UK needs a revolutionary change of government in a speech to anti-migrant rally. Already this title I don't like. Anti-migrant rally. The phrasing that they use, I mean, mainstream media always does this, but they use specific words, specific phrases to frame what they're saying in a way that is going to get some kind of either emotional reaction or sometimes just to blatantly lie to you so they can change the way you think. I mean, you know, common media tactic. Everyone knows this by now. Billionaire Elon Musk on Saturday said that the UK needs a revolutionary government change, speaking virtually at a far-right anti-immigration protest in London. Do you have to call it far-right, CNN? Do you? Just say it's an anti-immigration protest. Don't throw all this, oh, it's far-right, oh, it's extremist. No, it's just people who have a specific idea that they want implemented in their country, They're not saying we need to round up all the immigrants and put them in gas chambers. That would be extreme, right? I would consider that far right. Gas the Jews, far right. Hitler was kind of far right, wasn't he? Well, the comments from the world's richest man, a former advisor to Donald Trump. Again, why do you have to throw that in there? They want to put Trump in the article somewhere because they just want to remind people, anyone reading it who didn't know, oh yeah, he's tied to Trump, and you hate Trump, so now you have to hate him too. The comments from the world's richest man, a former advisor to Trump, came days before the president's upcoming state visit to Britain. There needs to be massive government reform in Britain, and the people need to be in charge, not some bureaucracy that doesn't care. I agree with the sentiments, Elon, but I don't think that necessarily the people need to be in charge. You're sounding a little communist there. Musk said in the Q&A with far-right political activist Tommy Robinson. I like Tommy Robinson. I haven't heard that name in years. The organizer of the rally, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Yeah, I see why you changed your name there, Tommy. I would too if I was named Stephen Yaxley. We must have revolutionary government change. This really requires everyone to sort of marshal the people, to take charge, reform the government, and make sure that you actually have a government that is for the people. Morgan & Morgan, by the people, the billionaire said. Well, I mean, see how that worked out over here. Is that really such a good idea? Musk has been wading into UK politics for some time now, which I find strange, but, I mean, you know, I have my opinions on the UK and its politics, although I don't pay too much attention to them because I'm an American! Sorry if that blew your eardrums out. Last summer, during a wave of violent anti-immigration riots in Britain. Violent? Well, I mean, maybe a little. Can you blame the people, though? They don't want their fucking country being overrun by people that aren't like them. Keep Britain, Britain. Keep Ireland, Ireland. Let them have their culture. Let them have their ways of life. Let them be amongst their own. It's human nature to want that. I need to calm down. The Tesla CEO and owner of X, said that civil war is inevitable. Okay, yeah, calm down there, Elon. Look, don't start pushing that kind of shit. That's like accelerationist. People do that here in the States all the time. Oh, it's coming. The Civil War is coming. Oh, it's again. It never fucking happens. They've been saying that for, 30 years? Like, we keep getting closer and closer. But no, people are fucking complacent. No one's going to get up and start a civil fucking war. As long as we have the NFL, and we have our beer, and we have fucking fast food, and porn, and all the other things that keep people wool over their eyes and complacent, no one's going to get up and start shit. And you know that, Elon. So don't start with this shit, man. In January, he said that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, what a fucking douche. Douchey name, douchey look, douchey hair, douchey ideology, douchey worldview. He's just a douche. Should be in prison when dredging up a years-long scandal over historic child sex abuse in parts of England. I don't know so much about Keir Starmer to say he should be in prison. He definitely shouldn't be running the country. That's for sure. I wouldn't even say he's incompetent. He's just, he's evil. He doesn't have Britain's best interests at heart. He wants to destroy the country in a variety of ways. He shouldn't be there. For a while, Musk was allied with Nigel Farage. He's an okay guy, I guess. The leader of the Populist Party, Reform UK, but the friendship fell apart earlier when Farage refused to echo Musk's support for Robinson, the founder of the now defunct anti-immigration English Defense League, who was previously jailed for being in contempt of court by repeating false accusations about a Syrian refugee. They weren't false accusations. I remember that story. That was a long time ago. That was actually what turned me on to Tommy. I had never heard of him before that story, and I kind of followed it closely back then. I don't remember all the details, but I know that what Tommy said was true, and they didn't put him in jail because it was false accusations. They put him in jail because he's anti-immigration, and he was kind of getting people on his side, and they saw him as a threat, so they shut him down any way they could. That's all there is to that. In other inflammatory remarks on Saturday, Musk told the crowd via live stream on a big screen that violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. I'm not going to say that's inflammatory if it's true. When violence comes to you, and it is coming to you, Britain and America and the Western world, you either fight back or you die. It's that simple. If I go out on the street and some crazy person comes at me with a knife, I either eliminate the threat or I get stabbed and die. I'm going to choose to fight back. I'm not leaving this world because some fucking nutjob wants to stick a blade in me. No, you're not going to be the arbiter when I go. I will kill you before you kill me. That's common fucking sense, but, you know. Some of these people would honestly lay down their lives, whether it be due to fear, inability to act, to fight back. I would even go so far as to say some people are so brainwashed into hating themselves and their own kind that they couldn't imagine bestowing violence on these poor immigrants, let's call them. These poor marginalized communities. Ugh, hate liberal language. He also referenced the killing of American political activist Charlie Kirk, saying that people on the left, quote, people on the left were, quote, openly celebrating his death. They are. We'll get to that in a bit, too. But they fucking are. And it's sick. Look, I don't like, for example, Barack Obama, but if someone were to snipe him when he's speaking somewhere, I wouldn't celebrate that he's dead. I'd be glad that his influence is no longer destroying the country and the minds of people that follow him. But I'm not going to be out there like, yeah, he got what he deserved. Fuck him. Well, yes, fuck him, but I don't condone violence unless it's completely warranted. Now, if I'm walking up the street and Barack Obama comes at me with a knife, well, I'd probably end up getting killed by Secret Service before I could defend myself, but I would still attempt to defend myself no matter who it is. In that case, yeah, I would pull out a gun and try to dispatch him. I don't think Obama would ever come at me with a knife. I sure hope he wouldn't. Starting to sound like Tucker Carlson when I talk. I don't do a bang-on, spot-on Tucker Carlson. Jim Bob does that. It's fucking hilarious. I've honestly gotten looks at work because some of the shit that when he goes into the Tucker, I just crack up. And people are like, what is wrong with you? I'm just pointing my earbuds like, dude, I'm listening to shit. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder. This is true, especially when it comes to unborn children. Britain's business secretary Peter Kyle called Musk's speech slightly incomprehensible and totally inappropriate. Says who? I think Musk is a bit of a gibberator at times, but totally inappropriate. You're not the arbiter of what's appropriate or not. Stick to secretarying business. You fucking Brit bong faggot. Kyle added that Robinson's protest, which drew between 110 and 150 thou, according to police, showed that those in power need to address big concerns that the public may have, including immigration. Well, no shit. They're not going to. They're not going to at all. I think these moments are klaxon, nice word, calls to us in public life to redouble our efforts to address the big concerns. Said that the demonstration proved that free speech is alive and well in this country. Yeah, okay, sure. You got guys getting arrested for flying the British flag. You want to talk free speech? I'm not a free speech absolutist, not by any means. I think some things shouldn't be allowed. But to say that free speech is alive and well in Britain, no. It's not even alive and well in the United States at this point. Alright, people were injured. 24 people arrested. 26 police officers injured. 4 seriously injured at the protest. Broken teeth, broken nose, concussions, prolapsed disc. At least something else wasn't prolapsed. Ugh. And a head injury. We will not stand for assaults on police officers doing their job or for people feeling intimidated on our streets because of their background or the color of their skin. Why did I Nixon that up? Holy shit. Starmer said in a post on X on Sunday, well, you know what, Kier? At least you have that much sensibility in you that people shouldn't be attacking cops. Most of the guys with your beliefs and your side of the aisle love dead cops. Britain is a nation proudly built on tolerance, diversity, and respect. Oh, whatever, man. Our flag represents our diverse country, and we will never surrender it to those that use it as a symbol of violence, fear, and division? Dude, Peter Kyle, you said Musk was incomprehensible. What about that gibberating? Proudly built on tolerance, diversity, and respect? No! Britain, you don't know the history of your nation if you say it's built on diversity. Are you kidding? Do you know the British Empire, the shit they did? Come on, man. You fucking tool. Our flag represents our diverse country. How? What? Not King George's flag or the Union Jack. How does that represent diversity? What are you talking about? Oh my God. I need a sip of beer after that one, man. That's ridiculous. That's like Kamala Harris level of nonsense. Holy old fuck. Alright, on to the next story, because that one's over. I don't have too much more to say about it, but this one comes from the New York Slimes, which I bypassed their paywall. Fuck you, paywall. In an era of deep polarization, unity is not Trump's mission. I actually only read the first paragraph or two of this and thought I'd talk about it, so I don't know where it's going to go. And it's kind of long, so I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to skip around. The first few minutes of Trump's Oval Office address after the assassination of good old Charlie last week followed the conventional presidential playbook. He praised the victim, asked God to watch over his family, and talked mournfully of a dark moment for America. Then he tossed the playbook aside, angrily blaming the murder on the left and vowing revenge. Well, it is the left's fault. Trump's right about that. That was stark, even for some viewers who might normally be sympathetic. No, anyone with, 2 fucking brain cells to rub together could tell you that it's the left's fault. Their rhetoric caused it. The guy that did it was a leftist. Who are you going to blame? You blame the guy that did it? You want to blame the gun? You want to blame the guy that assembled the fucking cartridge? No, we're gonna be rational here. Maybe a little radical too. I don't know. And we're gonna say that the ideology that the left has been pushing for so long radicalizes people like this fucking nut job, Tyler, whatever his name was, to go out and kill people that say things that he doesn't agree with. The left will throw the term fascist or Nazi or whatever at anyone that is just to the right of Karl Marx, let alone anyone who actually is on the right. And Kirk wasn't even on the right. He was a centrist. He had some right-leaning views, but overall he was a centrist. Okay. Trump appeared later on Fox. A host noticed there were radicals on the left and right and asked, how do we come back together? President rejected the premise. Radicals on the right were justified by anger. Radicals on the left are the problem, and they're vicious and they're horrible. They're vicious and they're horrible. A terrible Trump impression. Sometimes I got it down. Sometimes I don't. Mr. Trump is long... Mr. Trump. How about you call him President Trump? New York slimes. Give the man the respect. You never said Mr. Biden. Or Mr. Obama. Nope. And coming together is not the mission of his presidency. In an era of deep polarization in American society, he rarely talks about healing. Well, because... what? Biden talked about it. The uniter-in-chief and all that nonsense. That didn't work. His presidency was a complete fucking mess, and America became more divided during that time. What's Trump talking about it gonna do? You look at the fucking facts. The president talking about healing isn't gonna change that people are killing each other. The problem is fucking anger. The problem is the fact that you got motherfuckers out here who can't respect that other people have different beliefs. I don't respect your beliefs. I don't even respect you, leftists. But I'm not going to go commit acts of violence on you. Because what would cause me to do that is anger. And that is a big problem in our society. Yeah, while other presidents have typically tried to lower the temperature in moments of crisis, Trump turns up the flames. Yep. And maybe the flames need to be turned up. Maybe shit needs to really hit the fan. That way we can duke it out, whatever. And then come together afterwards. You ever break up with a girl or come really close to breaking up with her, have a huge fight, and then afterwards you have makeup sex? Maybe that's what the country needs to do. Maybe the right and the left need to really duke it out and then have some makeup sex afterwards. Although, I don't want to fuck any blue-haired trannies. Troons. Sorry, YouTube. Don't ban me. People experiencing gender, what do they call it? Gender, mental illness. There we go. The left has declared war on America, Stephen Bannon says. Trump is a wartime president now focused on eradicating domestic terrorists like Antifa. Well, they are terrorists. At least they try to be. Skip around here. I'm not reading this whole thing. He sees a country riven in two ideological and political camps, one that supports him and one that does not. Well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, I guess. You can draw dichotomies anywhere. You can say that the country is riven in two ideological camps, people that like pineapple on their pizza and people who don't. And the people who don't are freaks. Sorry for blowing out your ears again. You know, now that I brought the microphone back down here, I can actually turn down the sensitivity a bit. Let's see, right about there. That's good. That way I can actually yell into it and not blow your eardrums out. He vowed retribution against those who, in his view, have betrayed him or the country, and has spent the first 8 months of his term exacting that retribution against demon rats, wayward Republicans, rhinos, estranged allies, law firms, universities, news outlets, and anyone else he considers disloyal or excessively liberal. That's actually one thing I kind of agree with that he's doing. Like, he needs to kind of take the fight to these institutions. I mean, we, the people, so-called, need to rise up and take the fight to them, too. And we'd be much more effective at it than Donald Trump, or any political guy, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't even want to read through this fucking New York Times article. Holy shit! It's like reading a fucking novel. How much can you really write about Donald Trump? Mr. Trump is certainly right that his opponents have called him a fascist and Nazi. Yeah, didn't I say that earlier? Didn't I use those exact two words? The left loves those words. But his outrage at incendiary rhetoric is situational. In the same news interview, Fox News interview, he referred to Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic socialist and frontrunner for the mayor of New York, as a communist. Yeah, that's true. But why does the New York Times write this, and like CNN, all these... Why do they write shit like this? Like it's just the most insane thing to say. Yeah, the guy's a commie. He's openly admitted to it. When he says, as mayor, I want to redistribute wealth, I want to take money away from rich white people and give it to minorities, that's communism, bud. Stop mincing words, media, you fucking liars. You fucking snakes. You wonder why we hate you so much. Because you are evil. You are liars. You are slanderers. You're probably a bunch of sodomites, too. Fuck you. Enough of this. I'm not reading this New York Times shit anymore. Like I said, I only read the first paragraph or two of that and thought it might be interesting, but I guess it got a little fire out of me, so it was worthwhile. Okay, what do we got here? Are you gonna let me close that? There we go. This one comes from The Guardian. I don't know why they do U.S. news. Stick to the UK, you fucking... I almost said something I shouldn't have said. Charlie Kirk's death raises fears of beginning of a darker chapter for U.S. violence. Well, says who? I mean, is it really going to get worse, or is it just going to stay where it is, or is it going to get better from here? There's no way of knowing until it happens. Charlie Kirk's killing came amid a rise in political violence in the U.S., the kind now so frequent that it moves swiftly out of news cycles it would have once dominated. Now, whose fault is that? The irony of the fucking Guardian saying that. You're the guys that control the news cycles. Who wrote this? Rachel Line... Oh, woman. That makes sense. You want a woman giving you the news? The list is long and growing, from the 2 assassination attempts on Trump. I'd say only one of those was actually real, and I think it was the one that, where no shots were fired. To Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's home burnt in an arson attack. Democratic Minnesota state lawmaker and her husband gunned down by a man dressed as a police officer. Okay, so I mean, it's true. There is a rise in political violence. But I don't blame politicians for that necessarily. I blame the people that are fucking doing it. Although, I mean, people do have a breaking point, and it's understandable. I'm not saying it's right, but it's completely fucking understandable why this shit happens. In the first 6 months of 25, more than 520 plots and acts of terrorism and targeted violence occurred, affecting nearly all U.S. states, causing 96 deaths and 329 injuries. Really? More than 520 acts of terrorism and targeted violence? Why? That's a lot. That's more than one a day. That's like 2 a day. In the first 6 months, that's like 3 a day. Why aren't we hearing about all this? Huh, CNN? Huh, Fox? Why aren't we hearing about this? Maybe we are. I don't watch the news much. In fact, I don't watch the news ever. I don't even have TV. Mass casualty attacks where 4 or more victims were killed or wounded increased by 187% in the first 6 months compared with the same period last year. The killing of a high-profile Trump ally at a public event at a Utah college campus this week could serve as a turning point for political violence, but it's not clear in which direction. Turning point, hey. I like your choice of words there, considering who got killed. It's not clear in which direction. As the right declared war on the left following Kirk's murder, prominent politicians canceled events over safety concerns. And historically black colleges went on lockdown over threats. What do the blacks have to do with this? Oh, man. Categories. I think these colleges, these black colleges, they just take any reason to go into lockdown. They're always feeling like the victim. Spencer Cox, Utah's governor, said at a press conference on Friday, "I absolutely believe this is a watershed in American history. The question is what kind. That chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history?" I know I said earlier that you don't know until it happens, but I personally think it's only going to get worse. I really don't see things just simmering down after this. I mean, you got people that are rightfully indignant over the fact that some fag, some Q word, I should have said F word and then queer, because queer is the more acceptable term. Some guy, you know, I said it when it happened. I was like, my money's on tranny did it. Troon. No. But I was close, because it's come out that the kid was in a relationship with a tranny. So, hey, give me my money. I should get half of my bet for that. So $50, because I put 100 on it. Pay up, motherfuckers. Those who study political violence say the current moment looks similar to the U.S. in the 60s when assassins killed John F. Kennedy and MLK Jr. amid a time of massive social change and backlash. But 2 key differences make this era more dangerous: social media and widespread availability of very lethal weapons. No. No, guns were just as available in the 60s. In fact, some of them were more available than they are now. Don't start blaming the fucking guns. Guns are guns. I got a gun sitting right over there. You know what? It's never shot anyone. It doesn't just get up and shoot people. I have to be the one to pull the trigger. And like I said earlier, in the right circumstance, I will. And I hope you do too, America. Everyone should own not everyone. Most people should own guns. They should know how to use them. And when the time comes to use them, they should fucking use them. Otherwise, they'll die! Or worse yet, they'll have to watch their wife and children die and get raped before they get raped and killed. Not actually mad. Very rarely when I do this show will I actually get a little mad when I'm talking about stuff. Most of this is just theatrics. I want you guys to know that. Gotta make it entertaining for you somehow, because on my own, I'm about as entertaining as a baby dead with AIDS. Can babies get AIDS? I guess maybe if the mother had AIDS, it could, like, transfer to the blood. Wouldn't that suck to be born with AIDS? Like, yeah, you got like 5 years maybe. You come out of the womb and they're like, your baby has AIDS. The mother's like, what? It's like, oh, yeah, oh, by the way, you have AIDS too. Take the best day of a woman's life and just fucking turn it on its head. Your child is born, the miracle of childbirth, the best day of a woman's life, and then, nope, both of you have AIDS. So, increased adoption of conspiracy theories and online networks is where those theories thrive. Means that radicalization is speeding up, giving people less time to intervene when someone is on the path toward violence. Well, seeing that we're talking about Charlie Kirk, what does conspiracy theories have to do with this? I don't think that kid that killed him did so over a conspiracy theory. I think it's just a bad worldview. It's evil in the guy's heart, and it's a falling into the wrong side of politics on the left. Not really a conspiracy, though. That's a weird thing to throw in the article. And not all conspiracies are conspiracies. Sometimes they're just truth that's being hidden. That's the real conspiracy, is hiding the truth. Maybe hiding the truth about the shape of the earth, or maybe something lesser, like hiding the truth about chemicals that are being put in the water at a certain place in North Carolina that is somehow still in business and is still making products that are dangerous that people cook with. If you're not aware, I'm talking about DuPont. There's actually a documentary on all the shit they did back in the day. And DuPont is the ones who came up with Teflon. And for some reason, I own Teflon cookware. I should get rid of it. I don't like it. I don't like it, man. But you know what? I'm broke and it was cheap, so I gotta get me some nice stainless pots and pans. Maybe some that copper cookware. That stuff looks cool, but you gotta be careful what you cook in it. If it's actually copper and not just like colored that way, because some foods, the copper reacts with the food and it turns it poisonous, basically. So beware if you ever want to get copper cookware because it looks cool. You gotta do your research on what you can't cook in them, and always have some other cookware laying around. That was a weird little side rant that I just went on there, but I'm okay with it. Take a little break from this nonstop drudge of politics. Ugh! I hate politics. Why am I so engrossed in it then? It's weird, isn't it? A host of factors play into the rise of political violence. I'm at 51 minutes. I got 2 stories left. I said this would be short. I lied. It's going to be a little long one. I still got some beer left, so fuck it. The good thing about IPAs is when they start going flat, you can still kind of drink them. They're a lot easier to drink than like a flat lager or ale or pilsner or a stout. I haven't had a stout in a while, man. Why don't they sell like stout tall boys at gas stations? Why do you always have to buy like 6 packs of stout? Because I like stout and porter. I like those dark beers. Anyway, the roots of political violence. I don't so much want to get into this. This I can talk about another time. I'll do another stream on violence and more of a Charlie Kirk focus stream, I guess, and like the broader aspect of violence and how it's caused and why people do it, what it means for the future, stuff like that. Because I have one more story here, and it is related to Charlie Kirk, but since I'm at 50 minutes, I do want to wrap up here soon. I lied. I only have like one sip of beer left. I don't have another beer in the fridge, so let's get on with it. Because I want at least 2 more beers today. Now, this is from the New York Post. Questionable, but I kind of like them because they're not super liberal and they don't really mince words as much as the others do. And this is related to Kirk. A teacher, a public school teacher, you may have heard of this story, and to me it is absolutely disgusting. This person should be locked up in a fucking mental institution. Teacher allegedly showed Charlie Kirk assassination video to assassinate... Why am I assassinating? I'm retarded. Teacher allegedly showed Carly... Oh, man. I'm losing it. Teacher allegedly showed Charlie Kirk assassination video to 10 and 11-year-olds, told students he deserved to be killed. Isn't that sick? Isn't that sick? They don't need to know about this shit. Kids don't even need to know about 10 and 11-year-olds. They have no fucking knowledge about politics. It's not their place. Let them be kids. I didn't know shit about politics when I was 10. You know what I knew about? Fucking playing outside and playing video games and beating my meat. That's what I did when I was 10. I didn't go out looking at fucking Drudge Report, even though I had a computer. And Drudge Report was in the computer's history because my dad would go on there. But it's not, I was never like, oh, let's see what he's what's all this? Politics. I didn't care. The most political thing I knew about when I was a kid was that 9/11 happened. That's it. That is it, man. And everyone knew about 9/11 when it happened. I'm getting a little pissed. I don't like this shit at all. I don't like it at all. A public school teacher has been suspended. Suspended? They didn't fire the bitch? They didn't fucking put her in jail? Oh. And it was a man? It was a public school teacher has been suspended after allegedly showing a video of Charlie Kirk's assassination to students as young as 10 in his class. A man! Well, he's not a man. He's a male. Authorities in Canada said, Canada? Really? Ooh, fucking Canucks. The teacher also suggested that Kirk deserved to be killed and gave the young students a speech about anti-fascism and transgender issues. I've had it. That's it. Oh my God. When you have... Okay, look. You're allowing people... I'm talking to the school boards here, like the Department of Education or whatever they have up in Canada. You're allowing people to teach children. Now, in elementary school, 10, 11 years old, maybe, is that middle school? Yeah, I guess that could be middle school, elementary school. You're allowing people into these children's lives every day for fucking 9 months out of the year, every weekday for what, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day, depending on the school district. And you're not properly vetting them to the point where, I mean, you're parents, you are letting the state raise your children, essentially. And I understand, like, you have to. I get it. We don't live in a time where one man can provide for his whole family unless he's doing it damn right. Most people, most men, most fathers, they're not making that kind of money. The mother has to work too. I get it. So you got to put the kid in fucking public school. Maybe you don't have enough money to put him in a private school or a Catholic school or whatever you want to do. And you got these people in these public schools that are being hired to basically inform children. They're going to pick up on things that teachers do. I picked up on things teachers I had did. Maybe it wasn't like as extreme as what this shit's talking about here, but I had teachers that would comment on some stuff that was going on at the time, but they were always proper about it. They weren't trying to inform a worldview onto me. And usually it was because kids brought it up. The teacher's never gonna, their job is to go in and teach a fucking subject to kids. You come in my classroom, I'm a math teacher, I'm gonna teach you math. I'm not here to tell you that you should be a Christian, although you should. I'm not here to tell you that the left is evil, which they are. No, I'm here to teach you fucking math, dude. This guy gave the young students a speech about anti-fascism. 10 and 11-year-olds don't even know what fascism is. And there's no fascism in America, although maybe there fucking should be at this point. And transgender issues. Kids don't need to know about that mess. That perversion. It's sexual. Why are we teaching sexual stuff to fucking 10 and 11-year-olds? It's disgusting. People like this should be fucking executed. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. That's the fucking truth. Makes me sick. Several students from his class went home and complained to their parents, traumatized at witnessing the on-camera death, which they were forced to witness numerous times over. Hey kids, want to watch someone get sniped? Yeah, it's cool in video games, but then when you see it in real life, yeah, that's a little fucked up to be showing to a kid, don't you think? Let me scroll down here. Parents subsequently reached out to school administrators who will be putting him on leave. Oh my God. Why does this keep scrolling up? The source added, while playing this video repeatedly, he gave a speech to his students regarding anti-fascism, anti-trans, and how Charlie Kirk deserved for this to occur. You want a man in a classroom with your child with that kind of mindset? With that fucking anger? Justifying and giving validity to a man with 2 infant children getting sniped over something that he said, over a difference in belief? Are you fucking kidding me? A letter was sent home on Friday to all students affected by the showing of the video, calling the teacher's alleged behavior extremely troubling and completely disturbing. During class, students were said to have been shown a portion of a violent video in response to questions being asked about a recent tragic event in the United States. Read the letter signed by Corvette Junior Public School Principal Jennifer Kopti. The letter stated that the video was allegedly shown in to students in grades 5 and 6, so yeah, about middle school, typically aged 10 to 11, by a staff member who was supervising a French immersion class. What? Well, I mean, I guess it's Canada. They got a lot of Frenchies up there. And was not the regular teacher. Whoa. Let's say, does that make it any better? No, but school districts, you guys need to get on top of who you're fucking hiring, man. You need more vetting. Because if you're going to let this nut's not allowed within 500 feet of a child, if you ask me. Alright, so their teacher has been relieved of all teaching responsibilities pending the outcome of the investigation and will not be at the school. Well, yeah, but it said suspended, so that's temporary. I also want to assure you our top priority sorting students. Okay, right. That about does it for today. I had to end it, I guess, with that story just by chance. But that really fucking pisses me off, man. And it should piss you off too, America. Hell, this is YouTube. This is global, baby. It should piss you all off. Everyone that speaks English that can understand me. But half of you probably celebrate that this shit's going on. You want kids being taught about transgender issues. You want kids to think that man deserved to die. It's not like he's fucking Hitler. He's Charlie Kirk, dude. A fucking centrist with so-called extreme views that aren't really that extreme. With that, my beer's done, and I'm done. See you next time.